Well, welcome to both of you. I'm so excited, and I am truly honored to have both of you here on the Power of Music podcast series, and that we're able to be here at Tom and Yvonne's wonderful home, the Music Box. And I have just been really excited that all three of us get to sit down and have a wonderful opportunity to talk and share the profound effect that we've had on each other's lives and that music has on our communities and the power of music. So without further ado, Tom,
Yes.
This is your home. You and Yvonne have built this home with such love, and music and laughter fills it. You have a real legacy in your family that I would love to talk about. You and Yvonne met at Iowa State University, and you built a beautiful software company. Yvonne is the chief financial officer, you as the CEO, and you built this amazing company, and you built this beautiful current version of the Music Box, and share and lift up so much community around you. Music, but again, love, music, and laughter. Those three themes. Would you share with us the story of the legacy you've been given as your ancestors? The first Music Box was not this one.
When I was a small child, I was very close to my grandfather, my father's father. And I never called him grandfather, I called him Archie. And Archie's wife was Alice, and I never got to meet Alice, my grandmother, my dad's mother, because she passed away before I was born. Now, if we go back many, many years, back to the 1920s, on this beautiful lake, Lake Okoboji, and there's a series of lakes up there, very close to the Iowa-Minnesota border, so it's quite a ways north of here. And the whole concept of that summer cottage of theirs was devoted to music.
Wow.
And the reason is my grandmother, Alice, who I never got to meet, as I say, she was very talented. And she not only was a classically trained pianist, but she loved ragtime, even back in the 1920s.
Wow.
And they built a cottage. Archie built a cottage for his wife up on West Lake Okoboji. And there were other summer cottages on the lake. And they were uninsulated and things like that, but they were great summer cottages. So during the summer, this is long before nice air conditioning and long before television too, by the way. So the families would congregate up at Lake Okoboji, and it was just a very festive environment. And with my grandmother Alice and her talent, they had a upright piano in the basement, and a bar, of course. And then they had an upright piano in the living room.
Two pianos in a little lake cottage.
Two upright pianos in this cottage.
Wow.
And they would get together, and as I say, since this was before television, they had to entertain themselves. Figure that. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So how they entertained themselves was, well, they might have a little drink from the bar, and then they would stand around and they sang songs.
That's wonderful. And I read a story recently in your alma mater's magazine. It was a legacy about your namesake, your grandmother Alice.
Yes.
And your grandfather,
Archie.
Archie.
Yes.
Your dad's brother, there was a story about Tom Smith. And this is who you were named after, your uncle.
Right.
That I was so fascinated in the story. They told the story of how he would come home from Iowa State. He also was an alumni. And invite friends to the cottage on the lake. And he would just bring so many friends.
And the cottage got to be known as the Music Box. It got known by all the friends and neighbors up and down the beach. And this was the place to hang out and just enjoy life, enjoy each other's company. So music from the beginning, from the 1920s, has been an integral part of the Smith family life. Well, that's for sure. Uncle Tom was at Iowa State. My dad was also at Iowa State.
Wow.
The two brothers.
You guys are a whole lineage of Iowa State.
We're Iowa Staters. I guess if you rubbed our skin a little bit, you'd find Iowa corn cobs there. and we just love Iowa State, and we love the whole concept of getting away to go up to the lake and spend our summers up there. Uncle Tom, I also didn't ever get to meet. He passed away before I was born. He was killed in World War II. I was named after him, and I have a cousin that was also named after him. And although I never got to meet Uncle Tom, it was always very special to be named after somebody, not necessarily like an Uncle John or an Uncle Jimmy or things like that, but this is a special honor to be named after somebody who'd given his life. So the music box got extra meaning, frankly, and got extra emphasis in what the music box was all about, what Iowa State was all about, and clearly what public service was all about.
And that is a beautiful legacy. And I know that you and Yvonne very intentionally brought that legacy. And you guys were living in Houston after you moved from Iowa here to Austin. You built the music box on the lake. And I know you introduced me to the whole concept of the lake rat and having people stop in, and music, you wanted to fill it with community and that legacy to live on. And this is one of the things, Dr. Carlson, bringing you into the whole discussion in this community. We both met Tom and Yvonne in this phase of their story, their love and legacy journey. And we both have gotten to be a part of the music box.
Yes.
And Tom and Yvonne have been very intentional in filling this place with so much love, a lot of laughter and joy, and music every day. And the community, you have the Austin Lyric Opera, you have the Austin Symphony, the kids have their piano recitals here, just so much with intent and community, people's lives. How have you been touched?
So I met Tom and Yvonne about 8 years ago, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And I was invited to be professionally involved with their lives as a geriatrician. And over the years, Tom and I especially have connected because we have some similar backgrounds. And so I count Tom as a friend as well as a professional client. So my experience here at the Music Box has been special in many ways, meaning I've gotten to learn the history of Music Box 1, and then I've gotten to experience Music Box 2.
Yeah.
And in fact, even some of my family members have gotten to experience Music Box 2. It's always a pleasure when I come to the Music Box and visit Tom and Yvonne and the rest of the team here. And the music that you referred to has been so meaningful to them. And as a geriatrician, I've been able to witness the profound effect that it's had on Yvonne.
So now we're going to come back and go even deeper to your medical side. But so we both know Yvonne, right? Like when I first stepped into this house, the very first thing those two went up to each other, big kiss, big hug. And Tom just looked straight in her eyes, and then he looked and goes, "This is the love of my life." That was my introduction to Tom and Yvonne Smith.
This man has a profound love for Yvonne in a way that that I didn't understand in the beginning, and I've had to learn and understand it over time.
So I am a music therapist. So I am the one who gets to make music every day with Yvonne. Me, my staff, and others. So literally every day. This is Yvonne's piano behind us. And I remember the first time she played the Moonlight Sonata. She played for Elise. And she played, I told her about my mom used to play Debussy and Claire de Lune. And she played it so beautifully. Yvonne's just, her whole spirit, she's a kindred spirit with me. And I know you know that. Any of us who are musicians understand what it is. She loves to sit and play her piano. It's a very special place. And of course, your history with piano and your grandmother, even though you didn't know her, that spirit, so alive. And she told me, Yvonne told me some stories. So both of you, before we go into some of those stories and going back to the Iowa State years with Tom and Yvonne, I got to ask you both, just before we go here, To you, what is music? And I'm going to start with Dr. Carlson, then we're going to go to you.
So I grew up in North Dakota, and we were a very non-musical family. And I am non-musical, meaning I did the piano lessons. They tried to get me into trombone, and both lasted maybe a week. But so I'm tone deaf. And so music is an appreciation that I've learned through my wife and her family. Her family was very musical. Her mother was a musician. Her Aunt Pat is a professional musician. And so after I got married, that's when I started learning about music and appreciating music more. And when I was a kid, I was a nerdy little science student, and one focus, medicine, trying to be a doctor, and that was my single focus to my detriment, meaning I eschewed all of the other various activities in life that would have made me a better person. Sports, music, other extracurricular activities. I was just this nerdy little kid, okay? And now that I've learned how those other activities can make you smarter and better, if there's one regret that I have, it's that I was so single-minded. But it probably was a good thing, because if I wasn't single-minded, maybe I wouldn't have been able to get where I got. So.
I don't think you've wasted a moment of your life, Dr. Carlson. You are amazing, and you are fully a beautiful human being,
thank
and
you.
a brilliant doctor. So I don't think you've wasted it, and you met your wife.
And I met my wife.
It's never too late.
That's right.
With the music.
That's right.
So to you, what is music?
From a clinical standpoint, through your education, through my education with Yvonne, and my experience in the world of elderhood,
Yes.
Music has become even more meaningful to me, because it not only has the pleasure and the emotional aspect to it, it has the therapeutic aspect to it. That again, as a single-minded young doctor who was trained in pills, potions, and procedures, now I realize that that there is much more to treating the patient. Treating the whole patient. And so that's kind of a long-winded, not very concise definition of what music means to me, but it's in there somewhere. Good luck with that.
It is. No, that was good. No, that was beautiful. And again, it is a process and a journey, and it's not always the easiest to define, right? I didn't want a Webster's definition. I wanted a true speaking to you, and we all come on that in different ways. And Tom, you have some early memories, I know, of music in your life. But I'd first like you to kind of, how would you answer that? What is music to you?
It's a superposition of waves. Now, where I'm going with all of this is that you can say, well, what came first? As a geophysicist, we use seismic waves all day long.
Yeah.
So you ask, well, what came first, matter or energy? Energy came first, but between those two were waves. So a definition of music that's come to my mind is that whereas we use English or Spanish or Mandarin or whatever language, Swedish or whatever, to communicate with each other, it's really music that speaks to our souls. And that's universal. And if you have good music, people appreciate that around the world. It isn't just, well, folk songs in the United States or folk songs in Turkey or folk songs in Nigeria. No, music is universal. I think that's a kind of a broad definition, but it stirs us on a communication level far differently from the English or whatever other language we use.
It's so true. And it is a wave. All music is a wave, experience of an acoustic wave.
That was a great nerd answer that pulled it together into the human, and I thoroughly embrace it. Thank you.
Well, and that's what's so great. I mean, that's why I love this.
We have a lot of fun.
Yeah,
But I love that you brought in the physics, because I'm a science geek too. I know that the whole, and I'm hearing impaired, so I don't understand single words you say, I guess, but I feel I'm very tuned into frequencies and acoustics. So acoustic music has always been where I've gotten A+ all the time. So I'm always tuned into the sound wave too. And it's part of ourselves. It's part of the whole periodic table, right? Has a resonance and a frequency. So I love the geeking out. Thank you guys. I love that. So I'm going to bring it back to personal and tie in. So what is music from, there's something called autobiographical memory. And you know that as a gerontologist and dementias and other kind of, but each of us, we have in our experience our own story, how we remember things, our own biography. And when you were little and you're on the lake, going back, what are some of your earliest memories of music?
So my earliest memories of the music box during the summers when we would go up there was my mother's playing the piano. And of course she had 2 pianos to play. So the tradition carried on. And my father marrying my mother, he must have loved her partly because she was a pianist just like his mother was.
And just like you're Yvonne, a pianist, but I know Yvonne telling me her memories of her mother, her grandmother.
Yes.
Played piano. It was right outside the kitchen because she would tell me stories of the cookies baking in the kitchen. And she and her older sister Joelle got to learn the piano first, right? And then it was a big deal when Yvonne got to sit up at that piano and put her little hands there.
Yes.
And her grandmother and mother both taught her to play. So I know you both share that. And it sounds like your wife had that musical history with her family.
Exactly.
Do you have any early music memories?
Mine are all tied with the church and the church music that most of us experience, many of us experience. And I misspoke in the beginning. My family is largely non-musical, but my mother was a pianist as well. And so she failed to impart that to me, and I'll bring that up with her next time I see her. So,
Mom,
yeah, exactly.
You should have chained me to that piano, really. There's something about it. There's this community. I played French horn and marching band and concert band. So there's just this community, marching together, playing together, having duets. And my mom accompanied me even for one of my juries at the Conservatory of Music in Stockton, California. Mom played a piece that accompanied me for my juries. So there's this thing in this community that, whether it was Music Box 1 on the lake or here, how we watch that magic flow in the staff and all, especially there's just memories being baked in over and over. But you met Yvonne at Iowa State. That Yvonne's the one who ended up finally putting the move on you because she told me you just took too long. She was wanting you to kiss her.
This was a beautiful lady that I wanted to take home and introduce her to my mother. And now the implication of that decision is you're going to be a real gentleman.
But I have to ask you both. I want you both to think, what is the make-out music you remember most, whatever year? And I'm going to only ask you on Yvonne because we are in her home and she is here. But what's your memory, like the make-out song?
Anything from the Beatles.
No, you have to pick one. Pick one, because I know Yvonne. I know she loves every Beatles song.
Yesterday.
I was going to say.
Oh, really?
That would have been my guess.
All right.
She's played it for me.
Did she?
Yes, she did. She has that whole Beatles complete collection. It's beautiful. All right.
all of the love songs from the 80s, whether it's Elton John or Billy Joel or Queen.
It's like the soundtrack of your life, right?
Exactly.
The ones that are on the most, and it starts to pair with, like, you remember memories, right? We start to all hear that. You start to hear the beginning of, like, yesterday. Right?
Yes.
And Yvonne plays that beautifully, right?
Yeah.
She really did play it beautifully. So if you start to hear just the beginning of it, you get taken and transported, not to every lyric, not every word. You go beyond that to a time to who you were, even what you had on. You can remember details, you can remember smells, you can remember how your body felt.
Yeah, that emotional connection to
Yes.
with the music to the event is what's important. Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to continue speaking because your background in medicine, you started in oncology, and you told me a story, and I'm going to let you fill in more of this, but you moved from oncology after personal stress, and then you moved into geriatrics. So the story of autobiographic memory, the story and the legacy of the music box, the community, this is such a driving piece of who we are and throughout our whole life, right?
Sure.
And so go on to that about the memory and what you're going to say, because as a doctor and in your own personal journey, will you talk a little bit about music from you?
So medical oncology was all-consuming. So just like I describe myself as that nerd, single-minded, I get married, I get out of training, and I become an oncologist. And oncology was very, very good, but it was very, very overwhelming, and I did not find proper work-life balance, meaning it was too much work, not enough life. And I didn't take care of myself properly, and it led to health problems. And then I had a health event that was, it was life-changing. And I tried to get back into oncology, and after about 3 years, I recognized that I should move away in order to preserve other parts of my life. And so I objectively tried to address what I liked to do, what I was good at, and where there was a need. And all of that led to geriatrics. So I left my oncology practice, and I did a geriatric fellowship in Hawaii. And then after that, I planted my medical practice here in the greater Austin area.
And what year was that, Dr.
That was in 2014.
Oh, okay, more recent then.
And then I think it was probably a year or two later that I met Tom.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was since that transition period in the early 2010s or 2010s that that's when my appreciation for music started increasing, both personally and professionally. On the professional side, working with elders, we recognize the value of music in therapy, whether it's neurologic diseases like Parkinson's or dementia, or for the emotional support that it can provide for patients and families. And so music professionally, I've gained over the last decade a more relevant appreciation for music in that aspect. And on the personal side, I've got a couple of daughters. My youngest daughters are Lacey and Addison, and they're 16-year-old twins.
16-year-old twins.
And they don't have my genes because they are adopted. And so without my genes, they were imparted the music gene. And they have embraced music as part of their life in a way that I never appreciated personally. I never experienced really, even through my wife's family, the way that they have embraced music. They're in theater, they're in show choir, they're in marching band, they both play instruments. And with that, it has been such a joy to see them mature with their music. And I'll just give you one final little anecdote. My daughter, Michaela, who's a young doctor in training right now, she and her husband got married, and the twins, Lacey and Addison, sang the prayer at their wedding.
Oh,
And
how beautiful.
and if I don't keep myself in check, I'll start crying thinking about it. Everybody in the chapel was crying. It was so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that helps you understand a little bit about my newfound appreciation for music. So.
And I think that is something universally
Yeah.
all
Thank
of us
you.
can relate to. I know Tom, I have sat with he and Yvonne as they hold each other with their eyes.
Yeah.
Just the love songs, the love story that you guys carry still.
Well, Yvonne and I had a company in Houston that we sold, and it was because of that sale we were able to build this beautiful home over here on Lake Austin in Austin, Texas. We were always mindful of the fact it was a company that we started in Houston, and it was just mom and pop. We were the two that started and grew the company. We ended up with offices in Houston, Singapore, Croydon in the UK, and Leoben, Austria. Yvonne took care of the money, and I took care of the science, and it was a good cooperation. But interestingly enough, that you had mentioned this word neuroplasticity, which is a part of this. And so our second company that we have now, and this company is involved with understanding machine language, artificial intelligence applied to the same data that I've worked with all along with our first company back in Houston. And where neuroplasticity comes in is that we're studying the seismic data and analyzing the seismic data with these machine tools to try to extract more out of the information. And the neural network is based upon the visual cortex and the connection of the neurons in the visual cortex at the back of the brain. So it's neuroplasticity used in seismic geophysical data, and it's the same thing as the neuroplasticity aspects that you talked about dealing with the human brain. It's an amazing parallel in my mind.
And that seismic activity, whether it's in the geek language of data and technology, or the seismic activity that you turned up and shared so vulnerably of that human, that intimacy, that soul. And I know the most profound thing about all of that you guys have done, the wonder of you, the thing that floors me every day, is the loving fidelity. There is a loving fidelity that I see in you and Yvonne, in the way you hold each other, care for each other. And may I go ahead and say how around the same time I was brought into your world is Yvonne got a diagnosis. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? And that was around 2012, 13, that she had a neurologic diagnosis.
Right. Well, that episode got started with Yvonne and I, whenever we would leave the office together, and even around the house, we knew we needed to do a little exercising. So we would walk a long block, and it would maybe be 4 or 5 blocks long. And as we would walk,
and this is in Houston.
In Houston. And I noticed that Yvonne, her gait was steady, but her right arm would just hang there. And normally when you walk, you're moving your arms just like you're moving your legs. So we recognized something is just not right here. And we contacted a neurologist who did an initial diagnosis, and then we went to a specialist down in the med center who had written a number of books on Parkinson's disease, and sure enough, he confirmed that, it was Parkinson's disease. But we've always held all along in our journey together with our company that don't focus on the money. Don't focus on the end of the road on this life adventure. It's going to be a roller coaster. You'll have some highs, you'll have some lows, you'll have some chapters of your book that you would frankly like to forget, but it's all part of your story. So in this life adventure, enjoy it all the way, and the music box is just another statement of that principle. Enjoy the travels.
It's interesting because it is a ride, and there are hard times, and there have been hard journeys, because now Yvonne is how many years now into the journey with the Parkinson's diagnosis? How many years are we in now?
Yeah, at least 12.
Probably 12, I would, yeah.
So,
And the disease preceded that by a length of time nobody knows.
Possibly
But,
10
yeah.
years or more before
Yeah.
the symptoms ever show, right? With
Right.
Parkinson's. And one of the things that anybody who's here every day with Yvonne is how she just lights up.
Yeah.
So me being a music therapist, I get that every single day because we still do music together.
Music can make you sad,
It can.
but more than that, it can make you confirm that life is worth living
Yes.
and enjoy beautiful music and enjoy happy music. And I know in our case, Yvonne and I, we've lived that life all the way along. It's like the cup that's half full or half empty. And my mother always had that philosophy, the cup is always going to be half full. The result of all that is that when we went through about a 3-year construction period to build this beautiful place and moved into it, Yvonne already had a deficit, a significant deficit. And so you could say, well, gosh, we've lived here almost 12 years now. And one way of looking at that is that, oh, darn, the poor lady, she worked her whole life away. She was, her field was clothing design, and yet her and her husband got involved in geophysics and had her own company and things like that. Well, what a terrible payoff. That she got cheated these years. She got to move into this beautiful house, but it wasn't to really enjoy it. But that's the cup that's half empty. But the cup is actually half full. You know Yvonne. She's not the type of person to dwell upon what's the cup that's half empty or things like that. She's always had a positive attitude. So in a rather strange and ironic way, the music box has been an opportunity for all of us to share her disease with some really brilliant and wonderfully inspiring and inspired people to deal with this and to bring in a larger crew. We're fortunate enough, knock on wood, we're fortunate enough to have caregivers for Yvonne.
Yes.
2 caregivers around the clock, 24/7,
Yep.
every day. And so we're a family, just the way we ran our company back in Houston. We didn't have any employees.
You guys are brilliant at building community.
We
Absolutely
had
brilliant.
teamwork. We had a team, and we wanted everybody to contribute. Nobody worked for us. Everybody works with us, right?
Yeah.
So Dr. Carlson, let's talk about that because you founded Be Well. That is your medical group, and share with us, pick up on this, because I know this has had an influence, and you've had a major influence on Tom and me, and Yvonne is part of this, because Yvonne, in my opinion, she is thriving. Even though Parkinson's is, having its physical manifestation.
Yeah.
Boy, she is thriving. Can you talk from your point?
So when I left oncology and decided to move into geriatrics, I tried to do it a little bit differently. I didn't want to be part of the traditional geriatric community, and so I created Be Well MD, and it was with the intent that I would go to the patient, kind of a throwback to the old days when doctors made house calls. And it was with the tagline, stay healthy, stay home, trying to help elders maintain their vitality and stay at home as they age, as they went through the final stages of life. And part of that came from my recognition that in all of my years before geriatrics, I don't think I ever heard, and I still haven't heard, anybody say, I want to go to a nursing home. that just isn't part of the picture that anybody has. And being at home and the home that Tom and Yvonne created here for her is just incredible. And what you said earlier with the diagnosis and the advice given to you about the money, it made me remember my good friend, Dr. Ted, who's now passed away. But he said, Mark, don't be the richest man in the graveyard. enjoy your money, enjoy your wealth, and share it. And I can attest that Tom and Yvonne have shared the music box with everyone. The other point of this is that the care provided to Yvonne has allowed her to live and thrive in a way that I've never seen another Parkinson's patient do. The things that her doctor team, including myself, do for Yvonne pales in comparison to what the caregivers do for her. And then to mention the music, I never, prior to Yvonne, I don't think I've ever had the experience of seeing somebody just blossom when the music was turned on. And of course, with your experience, you get to see that regularly. But as a clinician, as a physician geriatrician, I'm seeing those patients in an exam room, very sterile, very rarely if ever do we have the music playing. And then to see the music turn on and to see her light up, her face light up, and then greet me in a way that she wasn't able to do without the music.
Yes.
Was just the patient teaching the doctor about things that I didn't know.
Thank you for saying that, because it's a reminder, Parkinson's is a mask. Just like Alzheimer's, so many things are a mask. And we were all talking about yesterday, the Beatles song, the playbook of the Beatles is their make-out music, and I heard it from your wife. And I know how much the Iowa State years, the walks through the campus for them, the bell tower, their Iowa State,
And the marching band.
And the marching band.
Don't forget the marching band. Now, neither Yvonne or I had time for the marching band.
He is going to be giving the commencement, the graduation address.
And,
Yes.
when the letter came in from the president, we would like to give you an opportunity. And I thought, I could sort of keep it to myself, and it was a nice honor. But I decided that, heck no, let's just involve all our friends and everything. Help us. Let's put this together. What are the important things to share in life? For example, it's not the chase for the dollar bill or the euro or anything like that, or the won or whatever. It's to enjoy the ride and let your intellect tackle the issues riding the roller coaster over the top in periods of exhilaration, or even when you go through the dip and it's periods of you think that you've lost all the blood out of your face and that sort of thing. All those are an important aspect of life, and the music is certainly a baseline that we can all enjoy and we can all share universally.
I know you shared with me once. I walked in and we were having Yvonne was going through, I don't know if this was when do you remember when she was having a difficulty sleeping at night?
Oh, yes.
You remember that? And Dr. Hudson hadn't come on the scene yet. You were on the scene. But you called me, so I came at 11 and I came out at midnight. And it was the simplest thing, just helping everybody find Yvonne, like I said, through the dark times and memories. Remember Iowa State, and I know her memories. So I realized she just needed to know that it was night, and just some of those music that are associated with who she is, right? Just helping her remember where she is. So remember I just started talking about the moonlight across the lake outside her window, Iowa State, the bell tower music. You guys have that on recording. These simple things, a little bit of melody, simple gift of melody, and talking soothing, strumming my guitar, and she just was able to get so calm. And I just showed the staff very simply how to put on Tom made a favorite playlist of calm, but stuff that is familiar to her. Remembering that memory of who she is. Remembering the musician in her is always alive. She's got such perfect pitch and musicality always. And I said, just put on music, read her Bible on the shelf. She loves that. Read from the newspaper. Tom, you and Dr. Carlson, you're really good at this too. You always involve her in every single conversation, every single decision, always reminding her of who she is, and how she belongs here. She's the center. We were talking because it was one about just what love demands, because you were advocating for her. There was something going on. I just remember, again, the advocacy that you have Carlson by your side and Dr. Morledge too, but there are times that you have to really remember to advocate for everybody to listen to her, to remember what your goals are as you live these life together and wanting to thrive. And it was a song. And you looked at me and said, "What I Did for Love." And you were playing it, and I know there is a soundtrack of your life and your relationship. And it is alive and strong between the two of you. Yvonne brings it up. She does it every time with me when I get to the part. That is Yvonne. Life, I love you. She loves you. She shows love and warmth. When you said every person that walks here, what does Yvonne do? Tom greets them, but what does Yvonne do? She looks right through you, right at you, right? With warmth and grace. I always feel that grace and mercy. And you fill this home with so much of the truth of love, music, and life. But the truth is, it doesn't matter what these walls and the beautiful acoustics that I love so much, you fill it with love. And it's a quality of love that is nourishing to Dr. Carlson. It is nourishing to my soul. It's nourishing to Rebecca and Becky and Roberto, all of our families, Sharon the PT, John, massage, just name all of your staff and all of your friends, all of us. It's nourishing our souls and our hope. And if I can't think of what a better definition of what is music. So I really do. I thank you both so very much I'm so grateful
Thank
that
you.
Tom brought us together.
Yes.
And that the powerful tools of healing and medicine that you bring to Yvonne and so many others. And you lead us.
As to you.
Thank you. And you lead us so well as a team. You've helped remind us all about what care is and what living in decisions. Is there anything you would like to say about your lessons to date?
There's more to medicine than just the technical aspect of it. And that's where the art of medicine comes into play. And artificial intelligence isn't going to put me out of a job for a while.
No, it's not.
Never.
But I fear for my daughter.
No,
So,
I don't think you have to worry.
no, she'll be okay. She'll be okay. But
I still think, since Tom's brought up, and I have an AI company that in Poland, I think as we are the architects of this, the most wonderful thing I look forward to in health and healing is the ability for us to operate less as machines in medicine, where we're looking at data and charts and running through, and being able to human well. And really being able to delve into really what makes us distinct and what is best. What do we do best in caring for each other and to do that better?
And as you say that, it made me think, we're on a trajectory, and the machines are not the end, but it's in the middle. And the machine, in the beginning, it was the doctor-patient relationship. And, 200 years ago, that's about all you had, plus some leeches and bloodletting. And it didn't work. It didn't work very well. No. And then we got better, and now we have the machines. But maybe the machines are just in the middle of this, where it will allow us to relieve us of some of the technical aspects, so that relationship aspect can take over again and take its rightful place in the whole person care.
And a renaissance.
Yeah.
And rediscovering what makes us so special. And the seismic energy of Yvonne and Tom Smith, you and your dear wife's love story, and your children.
Thank you.
And the tears. And my son Brennan, my first holding him, I literally had a song playing, You Are So Beautiful, by Joe Cocker. That is always going to be where I can barely get through and barely breathe the first time I held my baby boy.
Yeah.
And, you are so beautiful.
Can I add one more aspect about music?
Yes.
We talked about this a little bit ago, and the fact that music is a form of communication.
Yes.
And the bottom line, the interesting part about that is It's also a tool. It's a communication between two entities. Well, in exactly the same sort of parallel, we could say to ourselves, well, is it music without somebody sharing it with somebody else?
Yes, that's a really good point.
And it really is, the neuroplasticity aspect is the result of a shared experience.
It is.
So the clinician who is involved with the medical aspect about it, with the additional training, even with AI tools and things like that, to do a better job. Music is a valuable modality, but only as a shared experience.
And literally, Tom, now with the new technology, we can prove your brains literally sync up. The brain waves literally start to synchronize.
Yeah.
You know that, right? So maybe, Dr. Carlson, maybe in that future, maybe we go back to, I don't know if you guys remember, but in ancient Egypt, to be a physician, they had to be musicians.
Didn't
I
know
didn't
that.
But thank you.
That is my hope, that renaissance, that everyone's involved in healing, all of us. We don't just leave it to poor Dr. Carlson
Yeah,
to be well and heal the world.
Yeah, you deserve better.
But I'm just saying, music, I think you're right, we'll make it through this technological adolescence
Yes.
and come home. And I do believe music is the place for all humanity, that universally in our hearts, our homes, our stories, the sharing, the synchronizing is music. And even a geeky kid who feels he can't keep a tune in a bucket, that your soul and your heart, music,
Yeah.
is to be shared and made, to Tom's point. And I thank you all for, Tom, again, for creating such a space, whether it's the lyric opera, the symphony, the kids and the recitals, us every day playing with your grandkids at your music parties, Dr. Carlson, wherever. I love stepping into this, and I love you being so generous, you and Yvonne. Your hearts, your lives, your stories. Thank you for creating it together, making this together, this beautiful community, and thank you for this special team of today to talk and share so much of you, Dr. Carlson.
You're welcome.
And we thank you.
Thank you.
Good. You gotta open your finger. It's curling on you. Open. That's it. Good. Good, Yvonne. Push. Reach. Reach. Good. Reach.